I hope I did it. Um, let me... I don't think you can see what I do on other screens. Right? No. Okay. Let me figure this out. Okay. Okay. I think that's good. I hope that's good. I'm going to assume that it's good. And that's what it's going to be. I am quite nervous to do this because I've never started a stream before. I've been on our streams before, but not for longer than a few minutes. But I know that we were going to do like a little kind of series of these, so we just got out of the shower, so that's why our hair is wet. And I wanted to do one because I don't really get to do much. And I'm just going to do it while we wait for our medication to kick in so that we can go to bed. If you haven't taken your medication already and you do take some, please take it. That's important. I wish we had a list of questions that I could read off of, but we don't. I don't think. Let me see. Thought we had one. We don't have one. Okay, thank you, Corvin. So I guess I'll go off of the top of my head then. My name is Mia. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a soother. And we've been using the term sleep helper in our system because it describes the role that I have pretty well. I've been in a couple of our TikToks. I only remember 2, but it could have been more. I was 16 and I aged up to 18 recently. Within the last few months. I split off of Void when he was in our system. But I was also already kind of floating around as more of a fragment. I don't know, would it be a fragment? Because I had some of my identity and they kind of merged together with the split from Void when he was still in our system. I won't go into Void too much. That's more of something for Eras and Ruin to get into if they decide to do one of these, which is very possible. I don't think that Soren will do one, but I think Eras definitely will, and Bruin might. I have a little picture here, and that's what I look like. I'm very, very pale. I have very long, dark hair, kind of bluish, purplish eyes. What else? I'm closest in the system with an alter named Audrey, who I don't think has ever been on our Twitch, but I know that she's been in at least one TikTok, maybe a couple more. I don't wander in the inner world too much. Oh, and you're free to ask questions. I'm supposed to say that. So if you have any, maybe I can stop rambling and answer some. But I don't know if anyone is awake right now. I know not everyone is in the same time zone as us, but for us it's almost 2:30 in the morning. We've kind of fixed our sleep schedule to where we want it to be more because of it's not all of our new job, but it's definitely Allura's new job, which I also will not go into. If she decides to do one of these, she can, which I have some interest from her on that, so we'll see. Right, I don't wander very far in the inner world. I don't see a need to. Usually I'm either in the front room or I'm in kind of the main area of our inner world. That was the wrong wording. The main room of our inner world mansion. There we go. I'm trying to listen to Corbin because I know that they had more plans laid out and more of a script for kind of what we should be doing. And this was a very impulsive thing for me to do, which might have not been the best. But we are going to just roll with it. I want to open up a new window. Okay. This one. Okay. We have a well, that's not what I want it to be. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to take this and just read through the questions and we'll see what I get. Because I don't know what else to talk about off the top of my head. You regularly make new friends. I'm going to slightly disagree with that because I don't usually front to speak to people. The only reason that I front is to make sure that we're calm enough to get to sleep. Sometimes I talk to people, but most of the times I do not. You spend a lot of your free time exploring various random topics that pique your interest. No, not very much. I have done yoga a couple times and I do enjoy that. Seeing other people cry can easily make you feel like you want to cry too. I'm going to agree with that, but not strongly. You often make a backup plan for a backup plan. I don't feel the need to. I don't even have one backup plan. Also, us taking this test, which I think is going to be in all of our Meet the Altar streams, is inspired by Collective Mind DID on YouTube. We really enjoy watching them. Corvin does. Maybe some other people too. I don't think I've ever seen their videos, but I know that a lot of the system does enjoy them. You usually stay calm even under a lot of pressure. I'm going to strongly agree with that because even though I am kind of nervous about making this and doing this stream, I'm doing it. At social events, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people and mostly talk to the ones you already know. I'm going to agree with that. You prefer to completely finish one project before starting another. I don't think I've ever done a project, so I can't really speak on that one. You are very sentimental. I'm going to strongly agree with that, simply because every time we go to bed, we always have to sleep with a stuffed animal, and it always has to be the same one. Otherwise, we can't get to sleep. We like to use organizing tools like schedules and lists. That would have been nice for this, so I'm going to say slightly agree. Even a small mistake can cause you to doubt your overall abilities and knowledge. I'm going to slightly disagree with that one. You feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation. Slightly disagree. I'm not very social. You are not too interested in discussing various interpretations and analyses of creative work. I guess I would agree with that. I'm going to put strongly agree. You're more inclined to follow your head than your heart. That's an interesting question because I think there are situations where it's better to follow one than the other, and vice versa. So it completely depends on the situation. I'm going to put slightly agree. You usually prefer just doing what you feel like at any given moment instead of planning a particular daily routine. Considering that I did this stream on a whim, I'm going to say agree. You rarely worry about whether you make a good impression on people you meet. Slightly disagree. Enjoy participating in group activities. I'm going to say disagree for that one. I would prefer to be on my own or with one or two other people. You like books and movies that make you come up with your own interpretation of the ending. Some of these questions are very difficult to answer, especially because I'm not out that often for just normal things. I'm always out when we're heading to bed or getting ready for bed or winding down for the day. But that sounds interesting, so I'm going to say agree. Your happiness comes more from helping others accomplish things than your own accomplishments. Agree. You are so interested in many things that you find it difficult to choose what to try next. Disagree. You are prone to worrying that things will take a turn for the worse. I don't really worry about things like that because it's not my job to, and it's not the part of life that I am involved with, so I'm going to say disagree. You avoid leadership roles in group settings. It depends. A lot of these are very dependent on the situation. If it's getting ready for bed, I would rather take the lead to make sure that we actually get to bed, because there are alters in our system that would rather stay up and play games on our phone. Audrey. But if it's something like a system meeting, which we don't have very frequently, I definitely don't take the lead on that one because that's not my role to. So I'm going to say slight disagree. You are definitely not an artistic type of person. I'm going to say slightly agree. I can be creative sometimes, but for the most part, I like to think more logically. You think the world would be a better place if people relied more on rationality and less on their feelings. Well, rationality to one person might be insanity to another. Feelings are often chaotic, though. I'm going to stay neutral on that one because I think that the world would be a better place if everyone just did their own thing and stopped worrying about everyone else. As long as it's not hurting yourself or others, then you prefer to do your chores before allowing yourself to relax. Again, this isn't something that I'm really a part of in our day-to-day life. But for getting ready for bed, I have to do that before we relax. I'm going to say agree on that one. You enjoy watching people argue. Strongly disagree. It's very irritating when Audrey and Briar get into their fights, which they do a lot. You tend to avoid drawing attention to yourself. Agree. Your mood can change very quickly. I'm going to disagree. You lose patience with people who are not as efficient as you. I'm going to disagree on that one too. I think I'm a fairly patient person. You often end up doing things at the last possible moment. Slightly disagree. You've always been fascinated by the question of what, if anything, happens after death. Actually, yeah. Yeah. You usually prefer to be around others rather than on your own. I'm going to slightly disagree with that one. You become bored or lose interest when the discussion gets highly theoretical. I'm actually not quite sure what that means. Definition of theoretical. Concerned with or involving the theory of a subject or area of study rather than its practical application. Based on or calculated through theory rather than experience or practice. So it's to do with theories? I'm staying neutral on that one. I find it easy to empathize with a person whose experiences are very different from yours. Slightly agree. You usually postpone finalizing decisions for as long as possible. Disagree. You rarely second guess the choices that you have made. Agree. After a long and exhausting week, a lively social event is just what you need. Strongly disagree. Very strongly disagree on that one. Enjoy going to art museums. I don't think I've ever been to a museum. I think I might enjoy it. So I'm going to do that. You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings. Disagree. You like to have a to-do list for each day. Slightly disagree. You rarely feel insecure. Slightly agree. You avoid making phone calls. I don't have to make any. You often spend a lot of time trying to understand views that are very different from your own. I'd say disagree. In your social circle, you are often the one who contacts your friends and initiates activities. Disagree? Slightly. If your plans are interrupted, your top priority is to get back on track as soon as possible. Strongly agree. You're still bothered by mistakes that you made a long time ago. Strongly disagree. You rarely contemplate the reasons for human existence or the meaning of life. Slightly disagree. Your emotions control you more than you control them. Strongly disagree. Take great care not to make people look bad even when it is completely their fault. Disagree. I think that people need to own up to their mistakes and take responsibility more. Or a personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy than organized and consistent efforts. Disagree. When someone thinks highly of you, you wonder how long it would take them to feel disappointed in you. Strongly disagree. You would love a job that requires you to work alone most of the time. Slightly agree. You believe that pondering abstract philosophical questions is a waste of time. I don't necessarily think it's a waste of time. I just don't personally see the point in it. But if others would want to do that, you feel more drawn to places with busy, bustling atmospheres than quiet, intimate places. Disagree strongly. You know at first glance how someone is feeling. Slightly disagree. I'm not very good at reading people. You often feel overwhelmed. Strongly disagree. You complete things methodically without skipping over any steps. Slightly agree. are very intrigued by things labeled as controversial. Strongly disagree. I don't enjoy things like debates or arguments. You would pass along a good opportunity if you thought someone else needed it more. I'm going to say slightly agree. You struggle with deadlines. Slightly disagree. You feel confident that things will work out for you. Agree. We did it! We got the Defender. Well, I did. ISFJ-A. Defenders are very dedicated and warm protectors, always ready to defend their loved ones. 75% introverted, 70% observant, 64% feeling, 61% judging, decisive, thorough, and highly organized. They value clarity, predictability, and closure. Okay. 85% assertive. Do not want it. So I guess we'll go through this a little bit. And then I'll end the stream and we will go to bed. And if anyone has questions for me, I know that we upload all of our streams onto YouTube, which I believe if you go to our Twitch page, like the main one of our profile, it should be linked there. So you're free to leave any questions that you have for me, and I'm sure that someone will pass it along. Hardworking and devoted. Deep sense of responsibility. They rarely demand recognition, preferring instead to operate behind the scenes. Okay. Strengths and weaknesses. Strengths: supportive, reliable, observant, enthusiastic, hardworking, good practical skills, overly humble. I wouldn't say that I take things personally, just because I don't know a lot of people. Pressing their feelings. I can't argue with that one. Reluctant to change. I don't know if I'm interested in romance, but this is interesting to me. Asking someone out can be incredibly uncomfortable. We tend to worry about not only rejection, but also violating unspoken social rules. Friendships. It can take them a while to feel comfortable enough to open up to someone new. This explains why most of Defender's friendships don't start as random encounters on a wild night out, but rather through comfortable and consistent contact. That I can agree with. Career paths, because parenthood does not apply to me or the system in general. and I don't believe it ever will. Rather than seeking out the spotlight for themselves, defenders generally enjoy helping and uplifting others. Defenders tend to seek out workplaces that are collaborative and team-oriented rather than competitive and high-pressure. I kind of agree with that, but I would rather have it more of an intimate thing. It doesn't have examples. Humble dedication, relied on and respected for their patience and commitment. An ideal work environment is founded on working together with colleagues rather than competing against them. Yes. Everyone collaborating toward the shared goal of getting the job done. Mhm. Conclusion. Defenders' gifts include generosity, patience, and determination. They aren't people who just want to hear what makes them great. Defenders are committed to actually using these gifts to become better people and be of service to others. I would agree with that. So, yeah, that's my result. I think it's going to be interesting seeing what the others in our system get when they take this. Because I don't think that mine will be a very common answer. And I'm the A of that. I think that's about it. We should be getting to bed. Our back is starting to hurt. I'm not sure when this is going to be going up on YouTube. Hopefully, maybe in the morning. And yeah, thank you for watching. And if you have any questions for me, then please leave questions in the comments of this video when it goes up on YouTube. And either I or someone else in the system will answer them, depending on what's going on in the system and things like that. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope that you all have a very restful sleep whenever you do decide to go to bed.